Hello everyone, welcome to Gogetmyguru. In this video, we'll be learning about Python file handling. Let's quickly take a look at the agenda for today. So in today's session, we'll be learning about what is file and its type, and also we'll be learning file operations like opening file, reading a file and writing to a file. And in the last, we'll be learning how to delete our file using this Python programming language. So let's get started with our first topic, that is file and its types. So what is file? File is nothing but a named location to store information permanently. Whenever you use RAM memory, it is a volatile memory. If you need to store your information permanently, then you go for this file concept. Python deals with two types of files. So what are they? They are text file and binary file. So text file will be sequence of character or numbers. Image files and document files comes under binary. So now we know what is file and what are the types of file Python handles. Let's move on to next topic, that is open a file. So how you can open a file? Let's go to VS Code and try to open a file there. So note here, I have a text file called sample. I have named it as sample.txt. So this text file contains sequence of characters like this. Now I have one more file, that is .py file, named it as demo.py. Let me try to open this sample.txt file in demo file. For that, I'll take a variable f is equal to. So how you open a file? Whenever you want to open a file, you need to make use of open function in Python. So open, give the file name which you want to open. So my file name here is sample.txt. So what is this? This is a function here. This function returns a file object. So that file object is stored in your variable f here. So this object can be used to perform file operations. So now I'll print f.read. So I'll explain you what is this read here. So read is only for reading from the file, or you cannot write to that file. This is only reading mode. So let's run this. Here you can observe that we have opened a sample.txt file. I hope you are clear now how to make use of open function to open a file in Python. So to open a file, we used open function, and open function has two parameters here, that is your file name and mode. So as I said, file name was sample.txt and mode is read mode. So you are having many modes provided in Python. So this is the table. You can note here, if you specify character R, that is for read mode, and W for writing mode, A to append to a file, and X to create a new file, and T is for text file, B is for binary file. So if you do not specify any mode, by default file will be opened in a read mode, and if you do not specify either text or binary, the default value will be taken as text. So observe here, I am not giving any mode here in line number 1. After this sample.text, I am not giving any mode. So by default, Python is thinking that it is read mode. So that is the default value is read mode. So it is opening in read mode. So now we know how to open a file. Now we'll discuss file operations. So first we'll discuss read a file. So how we can read a file? As I have shown you now. So this is the code we have used to read a file. Suppose, let's run this first. So when I opened a file in read mode, all the contents in the sample file has been displayed. Now, what if I don't want entire content? I want to read only the first 10 characters of this file. Can I do so? Yes, of course you can do so. So you have to mention here, to this read method, you have to mention the size of characters you want to read. I want to read the first 10 characters here. Now let's run and check. So here you can observe that When I did not mention any size, it is taking entire content. Now only the first 10 characters of that sample file is getting printed. So now we have read only first 10 characters of this sample file. Now if I specify like this, f.read, and I'll not pass any size now. Now what will be printed? Any guesses? Let's run this. So note here, first 10 characters are read first. After that, and when you try to read next time, the characters are printed after this welcome to, not from the beginning. So here we have read only the first 10 characters. Now what if I want to read the first line of that text file? For that I have to make use of inbuilt method, that is read line. So this read line method reads the first line from your text file. Let's run this. So here you can note that only the first line from the text file has been read. Now what if I want to read line by line from this file? Is there any way? Yes, you can make use of for loop to loop through this file. So let's understand that. So I'll remove this line. Let's make use of for loop here. For x in f, print x. Let's run this. So here you can observe that it is reading line by line. So it has read first line, welcome to Gogetmyguru, and second line it is reading. So whenever you want to read line by line, you can make use of for loop. It is always good practice. Once you finish your file operations, you have to close this. So how we can close file? f.close. So this is to avoid any errors. Now that we know how to read a file, let's move on to our next topic, writing to a file. So how we can write to a file? There are three things you need to consider whenever you want to write it to a file. So we have to specify a mode first. So you can observe here, if I specify mode as W, it opens a file for writing and creates a file if does not exist. And if you want to write or append to an existing file, you need to use A there. If you want to create a new file, you need to specify X. I hope you are clear with these three modes. So now I'll just give W here. Now I'll make use of f.write and I'll write something here, Python training by Gogetmyguru. So this is the content I am writing to file. Now we have written, it is better practice to close this file. Now we have written, we need to read this file now. So f is equal to open, just copy this. Instead of write mode, I will specify read mode now. Print f.read. So let's see what happens. Here you can note that what happened to the previous content which was there in file. Write function is overwriting the content of your original file. To avoid that, you can make use of append in order to add text to your original file. So now if I click on this sample text, you can observe here that I have got only Python training by Gogetmyguru. So this is the content right now I am having in this sample text. So now what I'll do is, I'll make use of append here, append mode. So let's see what happens. I will add a content here. This is file handling video. Now let's run this. Content is added to the existing line, not to the new line. So how I can make it to the new line? I can just specify a /n before this, that is for new line. So when I run this, it should be printed on a new line. So here you can observe that it is getting printed on a new line. If I view here also, sample.txt now has 2 lines of text. And now suppose I want to write it to a file which is not in this directory. Let's say I'll give demo.txt and now I'll give write mode here. So now I am making use of demo.txt. So I have to read from that I'll give here demo. Run this now. So now you can see that this is file handling video is printed. But observe here, when I give a name which was not there in the existing directory, a new file is created. So here you can check that demo.txt new text file has been created and content has been written to it. I hope you are clear with this. Let me close this Explorer. So till now we were working with text files. As I said, if we do not mention here T or B, by default Python treats it as text file. Now let's learn to work with binary files. So let's try to read a binary file first. Can we read a binary file? Let's check that. So here I have binary file, that is image file. Now I'll give here name. So image.png and I'll give read. Remember, whenever you are working with binary files, just give B. Now I am going to read a binary file. So I'll delete this, take one more variable. I'll take it as F. Now to this F, I'll try to open a new file for writing this binary file. So I'll give pic.png and wb. So this is writing in binary. Now what I will do is, we'll make use of for loop here. So let's loop through the original file values. So for I in f1 dot write I. So here for all the values of f, I am writing it into f1 file. So now let's try to run this. So we have got nothing here, but here in the Explorer you can see that we have got one more new file with pic.png, that is the new file which we have written. And when I open this, you can observe that we have written the picture of Tom here, that is which was in old file. So now we know how to read, write to text file and binary files. Let's move on to our next topic, delete a file. So how we can delete a file? Let's check that. So say we want to delete demo.txt file and image.png file. So these two files I want to delete. So how I can delete that? For that I need to make use of import key here. Import os and os.remove. Give the file name which you want to remove. So I want to remove demo.txt and os.remove image.png. So let's run this. So now there are no errors, and here you can observe that both demo and demo.txt and image files have been deleted from this directory. So these are the basic concepts about file handling. So by now all of you are familiar with what is file, types of file and file operations like reading, writing, creating new file and also deleting a file.
If you like our videos to support us, leave us a feedback in the comment section. Have you subscribed to our channel? If not, request you to click on subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive regular updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in the next session. Keep coding. Happy learning.